Hi, my name's Craig West. I'm the CEO and founder of Succession Plus. We are the largest business succession and exit planning advisory firm in Australia. We've been working with business owners in the mid-market to help them maximise business value and achieve a successful exit for over 15 years. During that time, we've learned a lot, we've seen a lot, and hopefully we can share with you some of our experience, some of our knowledge, and the intellectual property we use to help business owners work through what is probably the most important focus area for an owner to work on. How do I maximize the value of my business and achieve a successful exit? Hopefully this webinar helps you understand some of those key issues you should be thinking about as an owner and helping you maximize the value of your business and achieve a successful exit. In this session, I want to talk about mergers and acquisitions, M&A as it's commonly known, and talk about what a proper sale process looks like for a business owner. We're going to talk specifically about professional services firms, but much of this applies to most of the businesses that we work with. Now, firstly, what is a professional service firm? What's the landscape for them at the moment? We've typically got professional services in Australia across a broad number of different categories. Obviously, financial services, accounting, financial planning, mortgage broker. We've got legal services, consulting services, and built environment, engineers, architects, surveyors, and so on. These businesses often heavily rely on intellectual capital. They rely on client relationships, they rely on their reputation, and obviously they rely heavily on their individuals, the people that work in those businesses. These businesses make money by charging out people's time and expertise and experience. They generally have a lean operational structure, they're highly dependent on clients, and they have limited tangible assets, which is not necessarily a bad thing. As a result, though, their valuation is often tied to goodwill. It can be enhanced by recurring revenue, and it's always about the strength of their team. So, why is M&A an option for your business? Mergers and acquisitions offer SME owners a structured pathway to exit while helping to maximize business value. Often internal succession doesn't achieve that. Using this model, we can unlock capital for retirement or even reinvestment if you want to go and do something else. We can normally ensure the business continues, clients are retained, and are well serviced after we exit. We can often work towards attracting strategic buyers who will value the synergies, the market access, the people, the IP within your business, and will normally pay more. We can also normally provide opportunities for staff to grow under the new ownership structure. For professional services firms, M&A is really attractive when the business has got strong recurring revenue or passive income streams, when the business is well systemized, documented, policies and procedures in place, corporate governance structure, and ultimately the business must be capable of operating independently from the founder. Now, a couple of key things to point out in terms of common pitfalls. The main one, the most common one, is actually poor preparation. Lack of documentation, unclear financials, unstructured operations will always reduce buyer confidence. We often see owners overvaluing the asset. Owners will often overestimate the value of the business, especially when emotional attachment comes into the argument and clouds their professional judgment. Sometimes there's a limited buyer pool. Often advertising publicly, engaging with unqualified buyers or tire kickers can waste time. It often also exposes sensitive information. And lastly, we see deal fatigue. Without a well-structured process, the process drags on. It takes a long time. It can lead to frustration and failed deals. A proper sale process mitigates those risks by following a proven framework, engaging with actual qualified buyers, and preparing the business thoroughly before we go anywhere near the market. Now let's talk about the sale process that we use and recommend. Firstly, we want to make sure that we have an initial contact with the right buyers. The key word here being selected buyers. We do buyer research. We work out who the right people are, who are the most likely strategic buyers for your business, and then we present them with a high-level investment overview. We often call it a one-pager. We then gauge buyer interest before we disclose your details and your financials and all those sorts of things. Are the buyers actually genuinely interested, and have they got the capacity to complete the transaction? We then obviously straight away go to a non-disclosure agreement, which protects your confidentiality before we share with them the information memorandum, the detailed brochure on your business. Obviously, then we want to start review the buyer background. Who are the right buyers? Where have we got the best cultural fit? Where are we likely to get the easiest and less friction point in terms of a buyer integrating the business? Starting to have conversations about selecting the right buyer. That changes the dynamic substantially. We're not now talking about going to auction and just taking whichever buyer we've got or whoever pays the most money. While that is a factor in the equation, we want to get the right buyer. Obviously, we then do some detailed business profiling. We have a detailed negotiation around the terms of the deal, the structure, and that's not just about the price. The terms are equally as important. How much are you getting paid? When are you getting paid? Are there any conditions around that? How's the deal actually structured? Is it cash? Is it debt? Is it shares in the acquisition company? All those things are quite important. And then obviously, unfortunately, a painful process, which is due diligence and all the legal documentation, making sure we can finalize the deal, doing all the work required to validate the information, and making sure ultimately that the sale happens, settles, you're paid, the documents are done, everything's handed over correctly to avoid friction. Thanks for joining me for that session. I hope you found it really interesting and informative and hopefully helpful for you in your business. If you want to find out more, there's a stack of resources available on our website. That includes white papers, ebooks, and other webinars like the one you've just seen. Also, feel free to reach out. I've got a team of advisors who are experts in the various areas of business succession and exit planning. They're here to help you. Feel free to reach out, touch base with one of my team. I'm looking forward to being able to help you maximize the value of your business and achieve a successful exit.